Libra, whatever you're saying right now is coming from your heart. That's what they're saying. Your heart cavity is coming from a real place, a real decision, a real situation that I think you felt for a long time, but just haven't necessarily verbalized it. I think you tried to show signs, or I think you tried to give people a fair shot, a fair chance at understanding how you are, who you are, the growth, the expansion. You try to tell somebody about your issues, your abandonment issues particularly, but you try to tell somebody how it is and how to understand the mind of a Libra, right? I think that people are going through new discoveries every single day about you, and I think it's making them uncomfortable because they're starting to realize that there's just more to you than just you're beautiful, you're sexy, you're, sexually gratifying. Like, there's more to you. There's more to you. Yeah, they talk about how there's a beauty towards your feelings about God or feelings about spirit. There's a beauty towards your, I think acceptance, or you're very accepting. They talk about how you kind of you don't judge people. You don't judge people like that, Even though, if you think about it, Libra is the justice system, but at the same time, I feel like they're unbiased. And that even though you're going through something, even though you fought through something that might have been toxic, that might have been negative, they're never going to judge you from that perspective. They're going to judge you from how they see you and who they see. And for them, that's just what it is, right? And so I'm talking a lot lighter right now than I actually mean to, but maybe that's what it takes for y'all in order to vocalize what you feel and how you feel about the situation, is to speak a lot lighter in order to avoid, I feel like, trying to sound dumb or overly dominant. Queen of Cups, you want people to know your emotions, but you don't want to force them onto somebody. You don't want to suffocate somebody with them. Yeah, so even as I said suffocate, like my voice started to give out a little bit. So Knight of Cups has been coming out a lot today, and it just, to me, it feels like there's a spark of something new coming into your life. I don't know if it's a new partner, new soulmate, or just a new situation where you're going to have to explain to somebody that your situation is a lot harder than it seems. It feels like you're gonna have to explain to somebody that you can't function at 100% all the time. I have to cover up this card because it's got a dick on it, but you can't function always at 100%. Okay, that's just not who you are, Pisces. Okay, Moon card in that part. You can't function at this perfect that everyone expects you to be when they see you and when they see the surface level of you. You cannot force yourself to be perfect at all times. There are going to be times when you kind of falling flat. There's going to be time where you're trying to make changes in your life, and so it takes a lot of failure before it actually becomes something, I guess, successful. And I think you have a really hard time accepting failure, and so when you fail at something, or when something's kind of going downhill, you panic and you might project. But to have somebody there to set you back in your place, to have somebody there to tell you, hey, like, you're good, right? This is a part of the process. You need to accept the fact that this is a part of the process instead of rejecting it. Because the more you reject this failure, the more you reject your strength as well. Because your strength comes from triumph. It comes from fighting for something over a certain period of time. It's not just going to come into the palm of your motherfucking hand and then you have it. It just doesn't work that way. Even if you're physically beautiful, physically fit, like, you don't get these things from that type of beauty. You get them from the skill. I had to cover that up again. So they talk about certain jobs, or this could be like sex work even. Might be dealing with cancer as well, somebody who's maternal or paternal, but they talking about how this isn't like a first try thing where you can just get it right on the first try. It's something that takes a lot of time to master. They talk about Taurus and Gemini here. It takes a lot of time to master here. There's I feel like someone's saying that you're being too much too early. So might be somebody on the soul level. This could be someone in your actual life, though. That's what I'm feeling. But it feels like possibly someone who has guided you and helped you throughout all these years, such shit. Someone's like, you doing too much too early. Like, you giving out too much of yourself, too much of your work way too early. Like, you should be showing people very, I think, surface level things. Okay, this might also be in coordination to romance. So you need to stop showing people all that you have right out the gate. Like, that's an issue, that's a problem, because that's exactly how people are able to manipulate and use you. Because it's not that it's a weakness to be honest and real right out front about like how sensitive and stuff you are, but it's also you giving away so much because you're wanting to force something down someone's neck, or so frustrated with the fact that people aren't just accepting and kind of reject you based on your feelings, based on what you follow, religion, the Bible, whatever your sacred space is, whatever situation you're living in, you find a lot of rejection through that. And so you will just want to kind of be upfront and be like, well, please don't reject me. All of these things are going on. I was honest with you. There's no point in rejecting me. But like at the same time, you got to think about what other people feel. You got to think about the type of people that you've been attracting lately, and those types of people, even though you might feel connected to them, at the same time there is people who you're connected to who obviously have like a emotional disconnect or a moral disconnect, in which they can hear what you're saying here. Libra, we got Libra right here. They hear what you're saying, but at the same time, is what you're saying going to be useful to them in any type of way? And if it is, whether it is or isn't, is kind of how they judge how worthy you are within a relationship, when in reality you should be meeting or finding somebody who's just as unbiased as you, who literally will take you at any place but work and support you, right? And you'll do the same for them. I think it takes get entangled with Libra and just can't find value in like themselves, so they make Libra give them that value. Yeah, it's a lesson not to keep forcing this onto people. You got to stop talking like right out the gate. You want to ease into it, okay? You want there to be some type of easing into it. So they talk about Saturn being too forceful. That's Capricorn being way too forceful. You just gotta shut your fucking mouth, right? Capricorn. Yep, anxious. It shows that you're anxious, a little bit codependent at times. And like, if you're looking for someone to accept this, there is someone coming in. I feel like there's a person or a couple of different people. There's two different people here that you have a choice and option. I feel like it's the past and the future. So I think that there's an internal thing for you that kind of leaves people open as an option, even after you're done with them, even after they've moved on into another relationship, because you always know that you can draw these people back. But what the fuck is the point? Clearly they don't love you if they're moving on from you, if they're fucking somebody else. Like, clearly these things are they're damaging, right? Because it's like you think you always have to be compared to somebody else, or you have to compare yourself to this person's new partner, or I don't know, like there's just lines that aren't adding up here where you feel like you need to do something unnecessary, Libra. When I feel like all you have to do, you don't even have to explain yourself. You don't owe anyone anything. Like, that's what I'm feeling. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Okay, you just have to move forward and go and do what you're fucking comfortable with, and continue to grow. Continue to expand. Stop moving based out of fear, where you like kind of blow up on someone because you're scared. Like, you just got to move forward. You understand? Stop moving so fast. Stop moving so fast. Yeah, there's someone here. There's a new person. There's a past person. There's a past person that you move far too fast with, and then there's a person coming forward that you're going to be a little tentative and very slow with, just because you've learned, like, while dealing with this old person, you learn how quickly you got attached to them, because they're capable of lying and kind of being, I think, distant from you, and then they come back in and feel like breadcrumbing to me. So past and future. That's what we focusing on, all right? And I feel like you're also focusing on your own growth, but it becomes harder when you're focusing also on someone else's growth. So when you're in a relationship, it just feels like to me you're trying to do too much. If you just tell a person, hey, I'm working on myself, I feel like there's people out there that's going to be accepting of the fact that you are just working on yourself. And so it's going to be harder for you to give to those people. Now, the people that aren't okay with it, the people that are codependent and are needy on top of you type shit, like that, those are the types of people that you need to kind of cast and look away from, because they're just not going to be helpful to your growth at all. In fact, they're a fucking distraction. Okay, Libra? Congratulations, Libra. I like I say, I see someone coming in the future anyways. So even though that might not sound, it might sound like, you know, oh, lecture type shit, it's some lecture type shit. No, I do see someone coming in the future. You're just gonna have to tackle it a little bit differently. All right, Libra? There's y'all reading. Oh, and I fucked it up. Love you, Libra.